I talk about a lot of controversial topics on this channel, and normally I would stray away from a topic such as the one we're going to discuss today, but you know, it is what it is. And this is going to be a little bit of an unhinged rant, if you will, but let's get right into it. The headline reads, "Our books help teach LGBTQ themes in schools. Should SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, allow parents to opt out?" And this is by Sarah Hoffman and Ian Hoffman. This was posted today, March 10th, 2025 on time.com. Of all places, Time. And before we actually get into my thoughts on this, I do have a quick favor to ask. If you could please like this video, that would help me out so much on this channel. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well so that you get notifications anytime I post a new video. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal right now. So join in with me on Classroom Camp, and I would love to have dialogue with you on YouTube. So again, the headline says, Our books. Now this is actually from the author of this article. Our books help teach LGBTQ themes in schools. Should the Supreme Court of the United States allow parents to opt out? And I'm just going to go ahead and give you my answer. The answer is yes. Yes. Parents should be able to opt out of having their children be exposed to your books, your teachings. Because frankly, I don't even know who you are, aside from the fact that you have written children's books based on your child. Okay, so that is my answer. Now let's get into what this article actually says. It says, when our son Sam was 6 years old, he was assaulted in the boys' bathroom at school. Sam was wearing khaki pants and a gray Star Wars t-shirt, but had long hair and was wearing his favorite pink Crocs. Another student looked at Sam, decided Sam was a girl, and began to scream at and kick Sam. It wasn't just at school that Sam had problems in the bathroom. We couldn't safely send Sam by himself into any public bathroom. At playgrounds and zoos, in airports and restaurants, other kids, and often adults, felt the need to tell Sam he was in the wrong place. Sometimes they were polite, mostly they were not. And Sam, he was a little kid who just needed to pee. I don't have kids, but I will say that in public places, if I had a young child, I probably would accompany them in the restroom if this was the case, or maybe just cut their hair. I don't know. But anyways, it says, after Sam had endured years of bathroom confrontations, we wrote the children's picture book, Jacob's Room to Choose. Here's what we get into. So this is the book. In the book, Jacob and his friend Sophie are chased out of the bathrooms at school. Jacob tries to use the boys' room and Sophie the girls' room, but other kids decide that they do not belong in those places based on their clothes. Jacob and Sophie's teacher realizes there's a problem and puts together an impromptu lesson on basic courtesy in bathrooms. Just like the teacher, we as parents and children's books writers believe that everyone should be able to use the bathroom safely, whether they look like other people expect them to or not. It says here, Jacob's Room to Choose is currently banned in multiple U.S. states and the country of Malaysia. In my opinion, rightfully so. Jacob's Room to Choose is one of 9 children's picture books named in Mound versus Taylor, a lawsuit filed in Montgomery County, Maryland, by parents who were upset that their children saw books like ours in their classrooms, books that teach self-acceptance and kindness. See, but it's not just that. It's not just self-acceptance and kindness. It actually goes a step beyond that and begins to teach certain ideologies. I would also, and this isn't just because it relates to these LGBTQIA plus themes, as we're going to discuss here in just a second, but it teaches a specific ideology in the same sense that you would not allow children's books to children that are relate to specific religions. As a Christian myself, I can say that's fine, because as a matter of fact, I would rather teach my children about religion at home. You can have a book about self-acceptance and kindness that doesn't teach specific ideologies in schools. So this is not about just self-acceptance and kindness. This is beyond that. And that's the issue with having this book in the school. It says here that these books were added to the school district's language arts curriculum after a thoughtful, inclusive community process to increase the number of books that reflect the diverse lived experience of the children in the district. Blah, blah, blah. The plaintiffs argue that not being able to opt their children out of instruction involving books with LGBTQIA plus characters constitutes a violation of their right to freely exercise their religion under the First Amendment of the Constitution. They claim that irreparable harm will come to their children from seeing that diversity of people and families represented in these picture books. All right. Now, again, I agree with this. I agree with this idea that, parents have the right to teach their children a certain sense of morality. And if religion is part of that, that is fine. But if you are teaching the opposite of what is said in religion, and let's just not sugarcoat this, okay? Because we'll say, for example, that in a lot of Christian as well as the Muslim religion, homosexuality is considered a sin. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. And to teach the opposite of that is teaching opposite of what your religious beliefs are. And so you are imposing, if you're teaching that and putting that type of literature in children's books, you're teaching contrary to what your family or whoever's religious beliefs are. So I see where they're coming from here. And that's why I'm not advocating for any type of specific literature being in children's books or in classrooms. I'm not arguing one way or the other. I'm just saying that you can teach self-acceptance and kindness without having to get into those themes. And this is the issue here. It says here, we believe that people have fundamental rights to practice and express their faith, but not when it harms others. Allowing families to opt their children out of reading our books hurts the children whose lives and families are reflected in those books. I'm not even going to continue reading this because I'm going to tell you my thoughts here. Well, this adds more context. It says, so we wrote our first book, Jacob's New Dress, to help kids like our son know that they are not alone and to help all kids learn to be kind. Parents, teachers, and librarians tell us often how this book has improved the lives of the children in their care. All right. Okay, let me just say this. Let me preface everything I'm about to say by saying this, that if you are part of the LGBTQIA plus community, this is not me saying anything negative about your community, because that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is talk about how this applies to education as a whole and why this article, in my opinion, is idiotic. I don't understand how it got into time. And this isn't a criticism of the authors either. I'm not doing that. I just think that this is a no question. Because here is what is at the heart of this that I'm going to say. From the very beginning, should the Supreme Court of United States allow parents to opt out? The answer is yes. Just because I write I could write a children's book that spread a message of self-acceptance and kindness, and I could, throw in a Bible story in there and write this same article. Okay, I could write this same article saying, well, I'm teaching themes of religion and, good themes in my book. Should parents be allowed to opt out? Yes. Yes, because that is not the purpose of schooling. And let me just get into a little bit about what the goals of education are. So there is a lot of theory behind this. There are three goals. So when scholars look back at the history of education and the policies that have been created, the way education has been run, the ways that society has become involved in education throughout the United States history, there are three goals, three themes that are shown throughout history. And those three are, number one, democratic equality. One of the goals of education, and we still see this, we see all of these today. One of the goals is democratic equality. The purpose of education is to train and to help build citizenship. Citizens who are able to participate in the democratic process in a democratic society. So in that sense, students should be taught to be critical thinkers, to engage in dialogue, to discuss controversial topics. And and yes, this is controversial, and I think that education has worked on my behalf because I am able to discuss such controversial topics and at the same time try to respect others and share my opinion. That's part of what the point of education is. Now, not to necessarily indoctrinate people into specific ideals. That's not part of democratic equality. Now, the second goal is social efficiency. Social efficiency. Can we build and mold citizens who are able to be effective and efficient in our society? So that means being able to actually work and hold down a job, have moral principles and ideas that contribute to an efficient society. All right. And we can see a lot of that. For example, you see how that with the push towards STEM-based education, science, technology, engineering, math, because, and part of that is corporations that get involved in the education process and say, hey, we need students, we need kids to be learning these things so that one day they can work for us. That's social efficiency. So building and teaching kids the things that they need in order to function and be productive within society. And the third goal of education is social mobility. Social mobility. The idea that education can allow students or help students to transcend class. So if you are living in poverty, through education, maybe one day you can rise to a higher social class. All right. And to move beyond your class. That's social mobility. So those are the three main goals of education that we see throughout. So how does LGBTQ, how do those themes apply to these goals of education? They simply don't, in my opinion. They don't. And I think that if you wanted your child to be taught these kinds of things, teach them at home or send them to a private school that does support your ideology. But in the public school system, this should not be part of the curriculum. You are two authors of a line of children's books complaining that, or saying, advocating for them to be put and taught in schools. I think there's a conflict of interest here. I mean, of course, if you write children's books and you think that they're great for school, you're going to want them schools to buy into this. But your ideology does not speak to what the goals of education are and what the curriculum should be. You need to understand what the goals of education are before putting this type of statement out about whether a parent should be able to opt out. Yes, they should be allowed to opt out. In the same way that you taught your child that it's okay to wear dresses, or that it's okay to have super long hair and wear pink Crocs. In the same way that you have the right to teach that to your child, parents also have the right to teach their children that that is not how a male dresses. Look, when I was growing up, I had my baby pictures. My mom dressed me when I was super young in dresses for whatever reason. I had long hair. All right. Long curly hair. My favorite color was pink. All right. But, you know, I think that I don't know. I don't know. Again, I'm not a parent here, but I do think that if I was, and I'm also a very traditional male, and I think that if I did have kids, I would teach them traditional values, whether you like it or not. And yes, parents should be able to opt out of these kinds of things. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to me that you would even ask this, because we're talking about young kids here. There are other things that kids need to be learning. Sure, they need to be learning acceptance and kindness, but that doesn't mean that they also need to be learning about LGBTQI plus and being indoctrinated into those ideologies as well. Okay, or any ideology for that matter. It's not a question. And the reason I said this article is idiotic, it's not because of the authors or the community or anything like that. It's just that, why is this on time.com of all places? This belongs on someone's blog. Okay, it belongs on a blog somewhere on the internet with two parents expressing their frustrations. And look, I can empathize with you, okay? But on Time, really? This is ludicrous. It's ludicrous to me. And you know what? You may disagree, but I'm gonna just go ahead and stop here, because like I said at the beginning, this is an unhinged rant. I think that yes, parents have the to answer the question, are allowed to opt out of this. It's ridiculous. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this right here? Coming from all the angles, we have here two parents who have a kid in a specific situation, and they wrote some children's books about the struggles of their child, and now they just automatically believe that those books should be part of the school curriculum. Do you think that makes any sense at all? Do you think that parents should not be allowed to opt out? That children should have to learn about these topics? Just whatever your thoughts are, let me know down here in the comment section below. Also, if you like this video, hit that like button. And once again, if you like this kind of content, whether you agree or disagree, stay with me here, because I still value your opinion. We are here in a democratic society, and I want to hear your thoughts. So let me know. Like this video. Also, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That's all I got for you. I got to end this video now. See you next time.